Welcome back, folks.
Welcome back.
Yeah, this is the Wrinkled Podcast, episode 15. 15!
God damn, that's a dozen and a quarter right there.
Yeah. Wait, huh?
It's a dozen and a quarter.
Oh my God. Yeah, all right. I'm going to blame that on not enough caffeine. I was like, wait, a dozen's 10. And I'm like,
A dozen's
wait.
not 10.
I'm like, wait, no, it's not.
This man's brain is large. I've never seen it so huge.
Oh, man, I'm living in, what, 1903? I'm doing the backwards meme. Not 2023, but 1903.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, episode 15. This is good stuff. Happy 4th of July, probably by the time this goes up.
Yes.
Either on, maybe not on the day, maybe tomorrow. Or the day after. I don't know.
USA.
Most likely the day after 4th of July, so hopefully nobody blew their fingers off. Or, whatever else. What else can we do with fireworks?
Set people's lawns on fire, set people's roofs on fire, set people's trees on fire. That's literally happened in my neighborhood. At least one of those, at least once a year for the past, 5 years.
I mean, that's kind of the American way, though, just set stuff on fire.
True.
Gender reveals, gotta blow something up.
You know what? You're 100% correct about that.
Oh, man. So, I know you were mentioning something about Twitter. I am clueless, so.
Yeah, the Musk man is back at it again.
Oh, okay.
So I believe probably a month or so ago, 6 weeks maybe, he announced that he was stepping down as Twitter CEO and giving it to some other. I don't know her name or what her resume is, but I believe when I saw it, I was pretty impressed by what she had. So.
Right. Okay.
But anyway, I think he's
article.
I think he's still under the board, just doing whatever. But this is something he tweeted yesterday. This is a verbatim tweet, just copy and pasted directly from his account. To address extreme levels of data scraping and system manipulation, we've applied the following temporary limits. Verified accounts, which are the blue check mark,
right.
Which, again, just going back to when he took over Twitter, accounts that were previously verified became unverified, and you have to pay the subscription now to get the blue check mark and become verified.
Which was like, what, $8 a month?
Yeah.
Okay.
Verified accounts are limited to reading 6,000 posts a day, unverified accounts to 600 posts a day, and new unverified accounts to 300 posts a day. So in essence, what that means is if you're scrolling through Twitter and you see like a tweet, you click on it, all those replies that get loaded count towards that limit. So I'm literally on Twitter right now.
Mm-hmm.
I can only see like a few posts. Everything else that normally I like have available to me and accessible to me is gone. Any notifications I've received, any likes that I've gotten, anything I've tweeted, I actually have to dig deep into like the menus to see that. But even if you can't even see your tweets that you've tweeted, it won't let you if you reach the rate limit, which is so easy to hit on Twitter because, like I said, if you scroll through essentially any tweet that occupies your feed counts towards your limit.
Right. And if it's got, 6,000 replies.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know how Twitter's API loads that stuff in advance. I imagine maybe 30 replies. If you click on it, open up the post, 30 replies get loaded. Does that count towards it?
So it said that it was to fight data scrubbing and what else?
Data scraping and system manipulation. Again, I'm not.
Those
I'm
are
not
very.
Yeah.
Those sound very, ambiguous terms.
Yeah, and it does say temporary, so I'm wondering for how long. But again, though, it seems to be stuff that is temporary or, oh, this will pass. Whatever does not. So.
What do you think the reason is?
I have no clue, honestly. Now I'm one of the people who, just like with the internet, I think it should be a public service. It should be utility in with water and gas and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, this is a privately owned. Oh no, it's public, right? That's right. Twitter's public.
Yeah.
But you kind of get the say so in what you do, but I don't know why. It doesn't make sense to me. It's not like, as far as I could tell, I don't think there was. I went back to see if there's any like potential DDoSing or like somebody was doing something weird, because remember how much of a fit he threw when that kid was tracking his private flights,
Right.
you know? So I was wondering, like, was it something related to that? I haven't really come up with anything, but
Maybe it's like, you know how this whole, like the whole premise, not premise, but I guess the way it works in terms of like cancel culture, it's scroll back through someone's Twitter to like 12 years ago and
oh, and
find
like,
something they said that's, you know, that's not okay today,
mhm.
and then throw it up on social media now and be like, "Oh my god, look at this person cancel him." It
Maybe.
feels like that could almost be tied into that. Maybe. I don't know because hmm,
I mean,
again, what would be the
it
point?
literally just came all of a sudden. It literally he tweeted it out and people started talking about it and then it started happening because obviously people started hitting those limits.
Right.
Um, so it seems extremely sudden. That's why I'm wondering if there's something just in the background potentially or whatever. I'm not entirely sure. We can only speculate realistically on what it could be. Um, but I mean, this comes off the news of Twitter's
Oh.
API issue.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what data scraping was. Involves pulling information out of a website and into a spreadsheet. So that's
Oh,
what the term data scraping is.
interesting. I
So being able to
wonder.
store that information, like cold store, kind of like pulling your crypto off of the blockchain and storing it on cold storage. That's kind of
Yeah.
what it reminds me of.
Hmm. I wonder. I wonder what he knows then, if that's the case. I mean, we do have like the um, people going to start campaigning soon, for presidency and all these open spots in the Senate and the House, or not the Senate, in the House and whatnot. So I'm wondering if, like, he's just playing it safe and, like you said, maybe not letting people go back to pull those tweets potentially.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. That's
Hmm.
just a thought. We know he switches his political leanings pretty consistently. So,
Yep.
um, but again,
Politics, man.
this comes off the back of the Twitter API change, which is where they're charging developers was I think I saw 5,000 or two to $5,000 a month
Hmm.
to have access to the API, Twitter's APIs, to allow third party Twitter apps, third party other apps, other system integrations.
Wow. That's what you said that they disabled in the initial stage, right? Like the free third party integrations?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And then obviously this is recently we've seen it with Reddit. Reddit's whole API is changing. They're not allowing third party integrations anymore. So any like other applications, other websites that you link with Reddit, whatever the case is, they're not going to allow that anymore. And developers don't want to pay that fee to access that because again, I'm sure they're trying to charge these guys a arm and a leg. Um, so it's interesting to see that as of late. You know, um, again, I'm wondering why specifically now. You know,
Yeah.
uh,
What's going to happen in the next 4 months?
yeah, exactly. Because we know it's just to charge people.
Hmm.
To for investors and shit. But like, what is it about like 2023 specifically that's like, hey, we should start doing this now? You know.
Right. This data scraping thing has me intrigued.
Yeah, you mentioned that, and I'm kind of wondering. And then the system manipulation thing makes me wonder if they saw like a huge influx of like data that was being pulled from
Hmm.
somewhere. You know?
Yeah,
Um,
like a bunch of new public information that all came from Twitter.
yeah, or like foreign agencies or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, we want to pull tweets that have this hashtag or from these individuals. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? And they saw a huge like download of data over a couple weeks that was interesting, or maybe that kind of set off the radar or something like that.
Interesting.
I'm sure there's a decent reason for it, but again, I can't think of one.
Yeah.
So
We'll see.
yeah,
Oh my God.
we'll hopefully hear some more about it. Maybe it'll get reverted here soon. Like I said, tweet does say temporary, but again, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I'm temporary. I mean, 10 years is temporary compared to 30 years. So,
That's what I'm saying.
you know.
So
Um, so I'm not sure. One of the malls near us we went to yesterday,
mhm.
and this mall fixed, like, they cracked the code. So most
Oh
big malls have restaurants,
yeah,
and this one has a couple, right? But if you like, I feel like it's mostly a guy thing. Like, if we want to go shopping, we know exactly what we want. We walk in the store, grab it, and buy it and leave.
yeah,
I'm rarely like, let me go wander, right?
yeah. Unless like you know, it's like a new store or it's like
Yeah.
a
Or
store
like
for your hobby or something.
Black Friday sale. Like, let's go
Yes.
see everything on sale, something like that. But shopping malls, it's a lot of like teenagers, a lot of kids, or if there's like a sale at Ulta or Fabletics or something. So I'm there with
Mhm.
Abby, and near the food court, they opened up a self pour bar, and this, like I said, they cracked the code on malls. You could see there were a bunch of like husbands and boyfriends like sitting in the chairs, just kind
Mhm.
of bordering it. You go, you connect your debit card, like they give you like this little white, it's like a little white tap card,
Yeah, yeah.
and you just insert it and then pour, and it charges by the ounce. And they have mimosas, wine, and beer, and you just drink until you're done, and then you turn in the card, and it charges your debit card.
Interesting.
Beautiful, beautiful. We
How
went.
much?
Go ahead.
So realistically, to like a bar or something like that. I've only been at a bar like a handful of times, but
Mhm.
usually beers are pretty cheap. Obviously, depending on the type of liquor you choose, drinks are even more so.
Yeah.
How does it compare to something like a bar or like a pub or something like that?
I think so. In terms of straight cost, I know the beer was a little cheaper,
Hmm.
like a tiny bit. The mimosas were not, and the wine didn't look like it was,
Hmm.
just based off the price.
Interesting. So I'm wondering if they're betting on the fact that like people will come to this,
Oh,
when they're walking around and
dude, the place was
shopping.
packed. Like,
Interesting.
it's just like a little open seating area. You can walk in, again, grab your card, pour whatever. But it was
Hmm.
great. There were people sitting there. It's in the middle of, there's the food court and then a bunch of other stores. There's, Gucci and Tiffany and Ulta, Kate Spade, all these shopping stores.
Yeah.
And you could just chill there, get some drinks. And so we went there, we hit like 4 or 5 different stores yesterday. So I had a few beers. It was great. And then got
That's
up and
interesting.
walked around to the rest of the stores. Like I said, they cracked the code. Just because
I'm
before that, you had to go into the restaurants and actually
yeah.
go like sit at their bar.
Yeah.
So it was fantastic. It's like, why
That's interesting.
haven't they done this sooner?
Yeah, it makes me wonder, like what was the logistics? Like again, it could just be like a COVID era thing where like, oh, we had this plan for this year, but obviously shit changed. You know?
Yeah. It's definitely been, so they had like a you know how in malls when there's a new store opening, there's like
Mhm.
a big wall with the art of whatever store's on there, and
Yeah.
it says coming soon. It wasn't that, but it was like in the middle of the floor. They just had a big box thing with the
Mhm.
name of the like alcohol company saying, so and so coming soon.
Interesting.
And that had been up for like a while, like at least a year. So,
Mm.
but yeah, that was fantastic. Made the latter half of the shopping just that much more enjoyable.
Yeah. I'm not much of a beer or wine drinker, but I will get a drink.
Oh, dude, it was so refreshing, especially being 105
Yeah, it's
outside.
been damn hot these past couple days.
Yeah, I know. Just on the drive over there, which takes us like 15 minutes, dude, my arm will start to burn in the car window.
Yeah. I'm like, oh God, stop it.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
so
wild.
hot.
But yeah,
Okay.
it was a lot of fun.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder what the margins are on something like that. Because fucking these things are cheap, beer and
Oh yeah. I mean, even the
wine.
mimosas, they had like it was made from using like those pre-made ones that you can buy from like Total Wine, and then you just like add ice
yeah,
or whatever.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I doubt I mean, they probably have pretty good margins.
Interesting.
Plus, they're more likely to go spend at all these stores,
Exactly.
And I know
Because
that's the real allure of it.
yeah, exactly. Because you said it's nearby like these more expensive,
Oh yeah,
department stores. So like, I imagine like the wine moms and shit are like, oh honey, I'm gonna get some wine before we go shop. You know what I'm saying? I imagine it's just like
yep,
100%. Like,
yep. Or
just
the husband who doesn't want to spend much money, just go grab him
yeah.
a few beers, and then come back. Oh, you want to go into this store? Sure, whatever you
Hmm.
want. It's
It's
genius.
interesting. Yeah,
Genius.
I like that.
Yeah. Oh, dude, and there's a Daiso in there.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's like lots of like Asian snacks. I don't know how to classify the store because they've got a bunch of like Asian and like Japanese snacks and foods, but then they also have a bunch of other stuff.
Mm.
It's God, how would you explain it?
How do you spell it? Daiso.
Yeah. They've got
Oh,
like
it says
office
it's a
stuff.
Japanese dollar store.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, like dollar store, they have like food, but then they also have like house stuff, toilet paper and waters and office appliance
Yeah.
organizer. They just have a little bit of everything.
Oh, they got the little Hello Kitty. Yeah, they got healthcare, kitchen stuff,
Yeah, they got it all.
Sanrio characters, Disney stuff. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, never heard of it before.
But it's
I
nice.
think my niece would like something like that.
Yeah, it's fun. We'll go in there and she'll get like a big bag of snacks to take to work.
Mm. Yeah. Well, I like those I don't know what they're called, but it's like the crunchy like
The
I think
wasabi
I'm
balls.
pretty no, it's like the it's not as airy. It's a little more crunchy, but they're really hard and they kind of like they're almost like lacquered in like some type of sauce or some type of like I don't know on the outside, but I love those fucking.
Interesting.
It comes like there's like other little bits in it. It's like a mixture of like a bunch of small and different little things.
Interesting. I don't know if I've seen those. I did buy a big pack of roasted nuts from Costco. It's sitting right over there. It's like a mixed nuts.
Mm.
And
Probably
then
what 40, 50 bucks.
oh my god. No, it wasn't too bad. It was like $12.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. It made me think of that remember the nuts you used to get from nuts.com?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, that place is
so good.
awesome, man. Like I said, you can make your own trail mix. You can get like 10-pound bags of trail mix for like $100. Like, and that's with any type of nut, any type of like whatever you want in it. So that shit's great for like just little snacks, like big bulk snacks. It's great for like those bulk snacks and shit.
Whoa, dude, they got a lot.
Yeah,
Nuts and
yes.
seeds, dried fruit, superfood powders, chocolates and sweet snacks, coffee and tea.
Yep.
Wow.
Like I said, and they do free shipping over like a certain amount. I forget. I think it's like $35 or $40. I think that you get free shipping. So
Damn, I'm gonna have to order some of these.
yeah,
Oh.
just do a big order, man. Spend like $150 and because everything comes sealed.
Right.
And shit you could throw in like the freezer or the fridge. It's perfect for that kind of shit.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to get some. Dude, nuts are so good.
I agree.
It's just like a good snack. Good for you.
Yeah.
What is it? Like almonds or almonds help protect against like testicular cancer or something? Is it almonds or cashew? No, not cashews.
So the almond butter I've been rubbing on my nuts for the past 5 years has been helping out.
Oh God, you were ahead of the curve. You already knew.
Yes. Yeah, I knew. Big brain. That's what you call big brain. Okay.
Oh, that's good stuff, man. Oh, that's right. So, along with those online, you said what, $50 free shipping, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on nuts.com. If you would like a 5 pound bag of nuts, go down and subscribe. Because
I will
maybe
personally hand deliver it to you
that's right.
in the middle of the night through your window. You just hear me out the window, just knock it on the glass. I've got your nuts.
Tell the officer what happened. I was sleeping and then a 5 pound bag of roasted almonds hit me in the head.
I think this guy delivered his nuts. He's a
Oh,
maniac. He's
God.
crazy.
Oh, man. What a day. Well, student loans are not getting canceled. Big surprise.
Yeah, I mean, along with a bunch of other garbage shit. So
Yup.
that's always fun.
So payments start up in September. Yeah. Interest, I think, starts up again in August, and then payments begin in September. So that should be
You
fun.
love to hear it.
Yeah. That's wild, man.
Yeah, I'm one of the I think few people who don't think college is always 100% necessary for a lot of things.
Oh, definitely.
So I did attend college, but I just did community college, and it was like general ed shit. A few like select classes for whatever, but I stopped going because it got too expensive.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not paying this shit.
Yeah. And, man, college is definitely not necessary. Like, depending on what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, yes, if you want to be a lawyer or a doctor, duh. But again, I know we've talked about it before. If you want to go study, basket weaving and get your master's or something. Or I know it's like a thing with a lot of arts students feel the need to get their master's in whatever arts
Hmm.
to go work a $40,000 job.
Yeah.
And it's mind blowing. Like, exhaust every other thing that you can do before taking that on. If you can do it without a degree, try doing it without a degree.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing I think is just experience.
Yeah.
Knowledge is important, but I think experience is, I think, key. If you can, how many guys who work hard labor for a living and, working on boats and doing these fucking, like, what's the most dangerous job in the world? Like underwater, like sea welder or something like that.
Oh yeah, something like that. It's,
Yeah,
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 like the underwater like pipe welding.
yeah, yeah. Well, my specialty is underwater pipe laying, but that's, I didn't go to school for that. Uh, anyway,
Oh
anyway,
God.
but like, I'm sure there's like a school that these guys go to or something like that, but I don't know. I don't think they're paying like 100K to go to this school, and if they are, I'm sure they're making that back in
Dude,
like a
trade schools
month.
are so much cheaper.
Yeah,
Typically and that's the thing. Like, take construction. I'm sure you can get a degree in construction and you
mm-hmm.
can tell people you have a degree in construction, and I'm sure it's impressive. But it's not as impressive to the employer as the dude who's got 10 years of construction experience.
Yes,
Or even 4 years. So the 4 years you went to school to get your degree, that person did the job for 4 years.
mm-hmm.
So they can come
And
on and train, and it'll only take them a week to get the feel of things. Whereas you have to learn it from scratch. Like, I know construction theory,
yeah,
you know?
and they have all their safety, everything's safety ordinances up to date, and they're code verified for all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that is your biggest, your biggest ally is getting, these this small hand knowledge. You know what I'm saying, that you wouldn't get from like a bigger, because you're just getting the broad strokes. You know what I'm saying? You're not getting the details. You know,
Yeah.
it's like shit, man. Just fucking God. And I I'm saying this, I think, fucking knowing, but I mean, with how everything expensive everything is, fucking internships are really kind of not where it's at, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
just do a side hustle somewhere, related to your field if you can. Fucking, you know, just try to do something. Gain some experience, gain some knowledge. You'll learn more by being.
Knowledge.
Yeah, you love. You know what I love more than knowledge? Experience.
Uh, yeah, man. Well, most internships these days are paid anyway.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
think
I
employers are
think
starting
in
to be like, oh yeah, having somebody work 40 hours for free is ridiculous. So,
well, not
and
only
in
ridiculous, but
California,
it's
probably illegal.
yeah, it's one. I mean, it's illegal in like a good majority of states, I think.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I got swapped to hourly the other day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. They do like I don't know what it's called, but like a law audit or something to make sure that the company is like up to code on
Yeah.
state laws.
Mm.
And they're like, oh, California, and then like a few more ones are like, they want to make sure that employees aren't taken advantage of who are salary
Yep.
because the whole salary role is like, hey, come work 16 hours. Your salary isn't that cool status to have. Like, you can say your salary, but we're going to overwork you, which is kind
Yeah.
of how things were.
Yeah.
So
I
now,
believe even if you're salaried, you can still get paid for overtime. It's not that's
interesting.
not how that works.
Yeah. But yeah, they changed us to hourly. I am so down with it
That's good.
because now I get paid for overtime and it
Mm-hmm.
looks real juicy on that paycheck.
It's very good. Very good.
Yeah, so that's really nice. But again, man, like another option if you want to go to college and not pay for it. I know it's definitely not for anyone or not for everyone, but the military pays for your schooling.
It's very true.
So, you know, you just have to do a minimum of 2 years active duty.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know how it works with like reserves and guard, like National Guard. I know they still pay for it, but I feel like you have to be in the Guard or reserves for longer because it's
Longer.
only once a
Yeah.
month. But
That
yeah,
makes sense.
that's a way to get schooling paid for.
Yeah. I mean, it's the most tried and true thing I think we've got in America. You fight for your country, and they'll take care of you in some ways.
Yeah, it's insane to think about how poorly veterans used to be treated.
Mm.
Like when you think back to like the Vietnam days,
Yeah.
dude. That's insane. That is insane. I couldn't think of like a bigger middle finger. Like, oh yeah, you went and fought for us, and now you're gonna come back home and be treated like garbage.
Yeah, and it's kind of fucked up because I almost felt like there was a war like every fucking like couple years
Yeah,
back then. You know what I'm saying? It's like the Korean War, um, Vietnam War, fucking all these others like smaller like engagements that ended up happening. It's all fucked up.
yeah, yeah.
Like I said, I couldn't imagine, like you said, going over there and like obviously like I don't know. It's such a deep topic to dive into. I think on such short notice, but I think pretty much every single war is unethical on every single turn. Because again, you're only fueling one nation's interest. You know what I'm saying? You're
Mm.
killing people in the interest of your nation for what? For political gain? For fucking WMDs in Iraq? It's like no, you just and I get it. Like some shit, you kind of like you just can't let some shit slide, and I understand
Right.
that. But
What did T'Challa say? Like two people in a room talking it out can achieve more than a whole nation or something like that.
yeah, yeah,
I
I,
actually just went back and started rewatching Doctor Who, and there's that episode where they erase the memories of both sides.
mm-hmm,
So both sides have to negotiate without knowing which side they're on. So they
yeah,
have to create like a perfect treaty because they don't know who's getting the better benefits. So they're like, okay, well,
mm-hmm,
if we just assume that we're both, getting the same thing, we need to make it perfect.
yeah. I think one of the quotes I think sticks with me is every war is a civil war, you know, because like yeah, there are people across the pond from you or whatever the case is, but they're still people. You know what I'm saying? They got families and shit like that, and
Yeah.
you see like the shit we've been seeing coming out of fucking Ukraine and
Hmm.
all that kind of garbage. I'm like, man, like, is it worth it? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're seeing a modern war unfold right before our eyes, and fucking look at the atrocity and like, look how young these fucking kids are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's
And,
insane.
and like a perspective change, like, oh, it's this nation, they're the enemy. But then when you just boil it down, those are, sons and fathers who just want to go home.
Exactly.
Those are people who are just surviving to go home, just like any of us,
Hmm.
regardless of what side you're on. You just want to go home. So, yeah, man, it's wild.
Yeah, it's fucked up, man.
Yeah,
You know,
but it will pay for your college.
that's true. It
Now,
will. It will pay for your.
oh god, oh yeah. So that should. Did you know they actually did a study apparently when COVID kicked off and like the
Hmm.
student loans were paused? People who had their loans paused went into more debt than people who had to keep paying because they didn't pay or they didn't pause like private student loans.
Yeah.
So the people who kept paying were better off financially than the people who didn't have to pay because the people who didn't have to pay were like, "Oh, now I can go get a new car because I've got $400 a month extra."
Yeah.
But they went
Exactly.
and got in more debt. I'm like, that's insane, man. I think about that. What was the quote? It's from a movie, like the reader or the author. No, what is it called? There's this one guy who's in a library and he
Hmm.
holds like all the knowledge of humanity. And this kid goes to see him. It's in like this futuristic.
Oh, I know what you. That has
I think Harrison Ford plays the like the librarian or whatever.
Oh, dude, I gotta
But
find
it's
that.
like a utopia, not really. And one of the like the villain, like the lady, she's she's rattling off a speech and she says when people have the choice they choose wrong.
Mm.
And I think about that a lot. I'm like, man,
Is it called Time Machine?
that's really gonna bug me. That doesn't sound right.
No.
I feel like the title has the in it.
Mm.
Hold on.
Man,
People
I time after time. No, I'm trying to think like what are these? No. Oh, the Terminator.
Oh, that's the movie. Where is it? The Giver.
The Giver.
That's it, The Giver. Yep, that's the movie. I
Oh,
never watched it.
it was a book.
Yeah, young adult dystopian novel written in a society and let's see. At first appears to be utopian, but is revealed to be dystopian as the story progresses. And yeah, there's like one dude who has like this library of all human knowledge, but he's like the only one. And this kid, from what I remember, he like learns everything that happened. He learns how society came to be as it is right now.
Yeah.
But that's the quote the lady says. Yeah, there it is. When people have the freedom to choose, they choose wrong. And it's like there's some truth to that.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it okay to take away people's choice, but there is also truth to that. Oh man, what
Interesting.
a week! So yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be pretty wild to see. Like I said, I've been listening into the Dave Ramsey radio show. People are calling
Mhm.
in about student loan debt, and I've got 400 grand in student loans, and I'm like,
Dude, my
oh,
that's about how much my doctor had um when I was talking to him, you know.
dude, that's insane.
He's like, "Yeah." I've got about like 328,000 and this much in some other like student thing or whatever. I'm like, that's almost $500,000.
Yeah.
Because yeah, some of it right. I'm like, huh? Like what? What the fuck?
The way he just says, yeah, like, yeah, that's
I
normal.
mean, yeah, I'm sure they're getting paid great money and
Yeah.
so I'm like,
But still, I mean, even let's say you're making 300 grand, just knowing you still have that sitting on you and you're paying, like,
yeah, and
it's
the
still
interest,
crazy. Yeah.
the interest on that alone is huge.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's really crazy. What gets me is when people get a degree, rack up, 90, 100 grand, and then they make a total switch.
Yeah,
Like, I got my degree in this, and then 5 minutes after graduating, I realized I hate it, so now I'm working this, minimum wage job.
yeah. I
Or,
wonder how many people like it's a parent thing, like oh my parent wanted me to do this or whatever,
oh, I'm sure it's huge.
yeah,
I'm sure it's, dude, I know. I mean, I'm sure you hear about them. I know people, oh, my parents will only pay for college as long as it's one of these three things.
mm,
I either have to be an electrician or a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. And it's crazy because these parents are either one, disappointed in their own life that they didn't pursue the dream they wanted,
yeah,
or two, in combination with that, I'm going to live vicariously through my kid.
yes,
And instead of letting them have their own life, I want to be able to go to the PTA meetings and our little 4th of July barbecues and say, well, my son's a doctor. My daughter's a
yeah.
lawyer. Ha ha.
I wonder how much
Point
of it
me.
is um like not even they don't care, but they care how it looks. You know what I'm saying?
Status. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like instead of the normal like, oh my kid's a whatever, my kid's a fucking basket weaver. It's like that's interesting.
Yeah.
Like oh my kid's a lawyer. It's like oh my god, how much money does he make? You know what I'm saying? It's almost like it's like a weird like dating profile that you're kind of making for your kid. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Go around to every single fucking neighborhood and or whatever, get together and be like, oh well, my son's a lawyer, didn't you know? And this and that. It's like, oh shit, man.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
like, oh, make your parents proud and go to It's like, wait, whoa, whoa, whoa. What does my career choice have to do with making my parents proud? Like what?
Yeah.
Those two are not connected at all. If my parents are only proud based on a career choice, then that's something they got to look in the mirror for.
Mm-hmm.
Say, what is wrong with me? Like, yeah, I couldn't. That's wild, man. I can't imagine. I count myself lucky. My dad's just like, hey, I just want you to have a plan
Yeah.
to do something.
Just don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, you're doing well in school and you're not a piece of shit. Just do something. But yeah, I couldn't imagine. You have to go to school for this or you're not going to get any help ever.
I mean, but like nowadays, that's almost the easiest decision you could make. Like, oh, my parents gonna pay for schooling for this. I'm like, fuck yeah, I would do it. You
Yeah.
kidding me? You know, free education. Fucking, I have a degree under my belt when I'm done. I'm like, dude, in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
You know. So
Or they take that as, oh, they're going to pay. I'm going to go dick around for 4 years.
yes, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Which again, it's like it's a self-serving situation. Because you grow up with parents who are all about status and are all about this and that, and you got to present yourself a certain way and do things a certain way. You're very limited in your attire and your choice of partner and your career field in your school. You know what I'm saying? As soon as you get free from your parents, what the fuck are you gonna do?
Right.
Literally do everything that you were never able to do as a younger child. You
Yep.
do fucking everything and anything under the sun.
100%.
So it's very like because you grow up with parents who are just kind of like, yeah, sure, we'll pay for your college, do what you want.
Mhm.
Then it's like you kind of have almost, I would feel like you have almost an obligation, to be a good student, to buckle down, put the work in. You know what I'm saying? But when money's just thrown around like whatever, and like it's used as a tool for kind of like strictness, and it's like, well, fuck it, it's there because you literally we see it all the time in fucking movies. It's their money, you know. It's like I'm not paying for this shit, and they like put it on the credit card or put it on the whatever the
Yep.
fuck. So
Yep. I know. We actually went to a wedding, and the bride and groom already had like a Zoom wedding,
mhm.
like like right when COVID kicked off. And then the parents wanted to have like a big ceremony, so they paid for everything. The bride and groom didn't really care. And so you could tell by their nonchalantness, they're like, oh, we're not paying for this. And we didn't
Yeah.
really want this. So we're not really trying very hard to keep things going. Like, we don't really care how this goes. And it's like,
Hmm.
man, like dropping all this money, you know? Like, I'd feel bad. But
Yeah.
then on the flip side, it's like, again, this is all for you, even though it's my life. It's bizarre. It's very bizarre. It's funny you mention like do everything you wanted to do.
Mhm.
I see a lot more people talking about like, oh, why are we now, on TikTok and social media, we see a lot more adults doing quote unquote like kid things, like grown people buying Legos and playing video game or doing things that are traditionally seen as like kid activities
Yeah.
for longer in their life. And then people are like, oh, well, a lot of this was pushed down when I was younger and wasn't allowed to do it, or
Hmm.
it was seen as wrong. So now that I'm an adult, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And then two, there's not some sort of, I guess the stigma is slowly going away and people are starting to realize, hey, just because you become an adult doesn't mean you suddenly have to stop doing the things that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a societal pressure to be grown up and act your age and this and that shit. And I'm like, nah, fuck that.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. It's
It's
like,
like I don't care. Like my thing is, I don't care what anybody thinks. You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know you. You mean in the circle of my life and my friends and my family, you mean nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? I almost anything anybody says, I very rarely I should say that like shit gets under my skin.
100%.
You know, because like your opinion means nothing to me.
As soon as
You
you
know?
care about what somebody else thinks, you start living your life based on that
Yeah,
and
exactly.
for them instead of for yourself.
You know, I how many conversations I've had with people because like, oh, like I did this and I regret it so much and blah blah blah. I'm like, that sounds like you were like tricked into doing something that you didn't want to do, or being told that you should do it because hey, guess what? Like, this is what grown-ups do. I'm like, nah, fuck that shit, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you're 30. Now you can't wear shirts with any designs on them anymore.
Yeah,
Or, oh, is this, outfit too, teenager? It's like, who the fuck cares? One.
yeah,
Two, why are you letting anyone or anything? And this is, when I think about like your house. Oh, so and so's coming over. Let's clean up. It's like, wait a minute.
mm.
They don't pay the rent.
Yeah,
They don't get any say over anything having to do with it. If they come over and it's too dirty and they don't like it, they can turn around and leave.
yeah,
There's no, like, you don't get an opinion in something you don't have your hands in. Like,
yeah,
it's your car, so you can tell me, oh, hey, let's go drive and whatever. Like, you don't have to apologize. Oh, sorry, it's this, or oh, sorry. It's like, it's your car.
yeah,
Why you apologize? Again, it's your apartment. It's your house.
yeah,
You live here. Why the hell does somebody else have a say over it?
yeah. It's something similar with relationships. You know, where
Oh
like
yeah.
you're getting outside information. You know, they're going outside the relationship to talk to like a friend or something like that, and like they're putting this shit in their ear. I'm like, but this is a relationship between us two.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This doesn't concern them. They're not in the relationship. You know?
Right. Yeah, that's why, man. And I've definitely come around because I used to think, oh, if you're having trouble with a relationship, maybe go ask other people.
Mm.
That's what I used to think. And now, and then at one point I was like, oh no, keep it between you two. And now I've kind of realized, okay, like maybe go see like a counselor or a therapist, somebody you can, like an unbiased third party,
Exactly.
because it's extremely difficult to find someone in your life that is going to give you real unbiased like advice.
Yeah.
Because if you go to family, guess what? They're going to be on your side most of the time.
Mm.
If you go to friends, your inner circle or whatever, they're going to be on your side. Very rarely is somebody going to say, I'm going to see both sides of this and give you advice that I think is best for the entire relationship, not just for you. Like, that's really hard to come by.
Yeah. Like I said, it's easy to think of your friend or to think of your family member being like, yeah, I know what's best for them and this and that, but I'm like, nah, you kind of don't though. You know what I'm saying? At least not all the time. No,
Right.
some shit. Yeah, this motherfucker said, hey, I got blitz drunk. I'm gonna go drive. I'm gonna say, fuck no. I'm gonna slap the fuck out you. Take your keys. Sit your ass down.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? But like, if you're just like, oh, I'm dating this chick. You know what I'm saying? She's cool, but she does this. I'm like, you just letting it get in your head.
Yeah.
You know, it's new. It's whatever. It's like it's just small shit like that.
Right. Yeah. Uh, And I know, yeah, like people try, like their intention is good,
Mm.
but I think a lot of people don't realize, oh yeah, you should do this. It's like, wait. You're hearing only their side of it. You only know about what they're telling you. The only people who are in the entire thing are them two.
Yeah.
So if you're going to give advice, unless you know every single detail, just, hey, you know what? Maybe go sit in front of, again, a therapist or a counselor and talk it out. Or, you know what? You too, go have a nice dinner, because nobody likes dealing with problems on an empty stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Have a glass of wine, whatever, have some ice cream, and just talk, open up, do something to help you two communicate. So I feel like that's the majority of relational problems could be solved if you just found a way to be incredibly open about everything.
Yeah.
I personally know, like, a lot of my past problems were because I was incapable of opening my mouth and being like, hey, this is how I'm feeling.
Exactly. Because you're told like, no, it's just this normal shit, man. You know what I'm saying? This is every relationship's got this. It's like, but I don't want it to be normal, you know?
Right. Or, yeah, this is normal, but then also being told, oh, it's normal to not talk about it. Just push it down.
Mm-hmm.
Just, knuckle through it. It's like, that is not healthy.
No, it's
That
not.
is not going to end well. You keep it inside, and then it turns into resentment and hatred. And it's like, it's going to boil up and just terrible. Terrible.
Yeah. I said it happens all the time. That's one of the things that at my old job I encountered, I think, the most is something would happen to somebody, nobody would say anything about it, or somebody would downplay like how they felt about it, and then they would just be fine with like the outcome of whatever happened. Like, oh, we just talked to them, that was it, or something like that.
Right.
And then months later, this shit got blown up because like it just kept happening. Like the small shit kept happening, the little fucking side disagreements and shit. And it's like, oh yeah, I just got tired of whatever, and I just blew up. I'm like, but if you would have said something, we could have solved this problem.
Right.
If you did what you're supposed to do, like, no, you let it fester and you let it bubble over until it became too big to handle.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of like us setting the tone from the start, you kind of just let it be its own thing.
Yep. And
I'm like,
brushed it off as, oh,
exactly.
This is just a small thing. And this
if something fucking bothers you, speak the fuck up.
Yep.
I don't understand like the fascination with like, nah, just hold it in, man. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Like, motherfucker, that shit eats you alive.
I think one problem is like a view like, oh, if you open up and admit that it bothers you, then there's some view of it being like, oh, you're admitting weakness. Like, why does
exactly
it bother
you're weak. I'm like,
Right.
motherfucker, I'd be weak the rest of my life if that was the case.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You
Yep.
can't let that shit like. That's how you get sent to a fucking early grave.
Yep. Builds up, and dude, stress, like, that'll kill you.
Mm-hmm. It's been proven time and time again.
Yeah.
You know.
I know, man. Like, I am amazed at how much easier, not even romantic relationships, just relationships in general are when you can just be straight up.
Yeah, because I think it's becoming more common nowadays. Especially I think with people like our generation, like a little older,
Hmm.
because we've kind of been through this shit with like people who are kind of assholes and like people who generally don't care about you. It's like, no, I want somebody who's like a good friend who will tell me no. I don't want yes men and yes women. I want no women and no men.
Right.
People to say, hey, that's not a good idea. Hey, that's probably not in your best interest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you want people to challenge you and make sure that you don't stray.
Yeah.
Like, again, if I'm being an asshole, I want you to be like, "Hey, man, I love you, but you're being a dick.
hmm
Like, that's not okay." You know?
It's simple shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's you get tired of having everybody say yes to you all the time. I'm like, shit's don't tell me yes if I'm doing something wrong. You
Yeah.
know?
You can't say you really care about that person if you're saying yes to them doing something that's leading them on a path of destruction.
Or hurting somebody else.
Right. Yeah.
You know? Like I said that's like the biggest shit is like you know you're gonna do this and you know it's gonna hurt them.
Right.
It's like that's fucked up.
Yeah.
you know? That's some evil shit. You know that like, oh well they like this shit happens all the time, man. Oh, they did this, so I'm gonna do this to him back, but I'm doing worse.
Yeah.
You know? I'm like,
Like, what does that
what?
solve?
Yeah, and I don't know if you know anything about like witches and shit, but
Like,
whenever you get cursed, but like I mean, just think like
okay, just the idea. Okay, go for it.
general shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
whenever you get cursed, whatever you curse them with happens back to you 3 times as worse. So that's why
Interesting.
whenever you get cursed by a witch, quote unquote, they
Hmm.
tell you they want you to live a long and happy life because then if you do live a long happy life and that's the curse taking place, then you're good. You know what I'm saying? Like
Interesting.
they're good. They whatever. It's like you can still not excuse my language. You can still not fuck with somebody and like them and do whatever the case is. But like to go out of your way to hurt somebody maliciously or to have hate in your heart, like that's too much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And then you grow. 10 years down the road, you grow into a better version of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully. And then you look back at that time when you were really hurt and you decided to get back at them worse. And you look at that action and we're like, wow, that was a really ugly thing to do.
Exactly.
Like, I am grossed out by the fact that I used to be capable of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because then and it's like, it is a disgust. It's looking back and be like, wow, that was really shitty. Like, and you can't change it. So
Yeah.
it's bizarre, man.
Like I said, I don't, I do my best to be just a chill motherfucker, man. I don't like putting hurt on nobody. You know what I'm saying? I don't say shit out of pocket to anybody who, because that could be the last thing that you say to somebody. You know what I'm saying? You
Yep.
want to leave that with them and you want to leave that with yourself.
Yep.
I'm like, I couldn't do it, man. You know, I'll tell
Yep.
you you're wrong and I'll do everything under the sun, but I will never hurt you. I'll never harm you with my words. You know,
Right.
I said, I cannot leave a conversation like that knowing that, hey, this is the most out of pocket shit I ever said to somebody in my life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I
And
couldn't do it.
you could say some shit and then they turn around, walk out, and get hit by a bus.
Exactly.
And now what? Like, that's yeah. I mean, I actually like that's something I bring into like my relationships. Like, listen, I don't care how angry we are at each other. I don't care what's going on because the moment you ever let it get to now you're just throwing nasty stuff to try and hurt the other person.
hmm
Again, you might not wake up tomorrow.
Yeah.
The other person might not wake up, and then you're going to feel really shitty that, oh my God, the last thing I said to them was, go fuck yourself, or I wish I never did this, or I wish you did that. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to eat away at you.
hmm
So,
Is I think also too many times that we do encounter arguments, especially as young children.
oh,
You get shaped by like what you see in like movies and media and like around your house and shit. So like if you see relationships like, yeah, people calling each other out their name and shit because they have problems, this and that, it's like That's not normal. That's not normal relationship. That's not healthy in
Mhm.
fucking any stretch of the word.
But
You know.
that's the trouble is growing up seeing that, they think it's normal.
Hmm.
You think it's normal to raise your voice and to yell and to scream at each other because that's all you saw.
Exactly.
And then
You
to
know.
have, and then when somebody else tries to tell you that, like, hey, you don't have to do that. Like, that's not healthy. Then it's almost like throwing gasoline on. Like, what do you mean? You're saying I'm not, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
And so it's a really tough thing to approach. I think it's one of the most important things to do as you grow up is to consistently question your own beliefs.
Hmm.
Because I talked to Abby about this a while ago. I'm starting to realize how much of what I thought I believed in just came from parents, school, TV shows, like things I
Yeah.
thought like, oh yeah, this is my thought, this is my belief. It's like, no, it's theirs, or I learned it from there. And how do I actually feel about this? And so to consistently question, like, this is what I've always grown up thinking. Is that right? Or is that the best approach? And
Yeah.
is can I change something? I've been listening to a bunch of like different podcasts and different people from different like beliefs and backgrounds,
Hmm.
hearing different viewpoints, being like, oh, that's interesting. It's not exactly what I believe, but like, how would that play out? Like, is that a better approach?
Yeah.
Is that a healthier way to go about, this conversation or this situation? It's like constantly just thinking, is there a way for me to grow and improve on how I'm thinking now?
Yeah. I think. I think inward retrospective is one of the most important like habits you can do to yourself. You know, being able to look inward and think about and see like how is this affecting me? You know, did I think this, but is it not the case now? You know?
Right. Or what's causing this? Like,
Yeah.
why does this thing make me angry? Is it because it's this thing? Or, oh, no, that's right. When I was younger, you know, I used to get yelled at for this.
Yeah.
Or, oh, this used to get me in trouble. So now, based on that, I avoid this. Oh, okay. Now I can slowly work into, hey, you're not a kid anymore. You're an adult. You shape your own life. You can make these changes. You're not defined by your past.
So that's why I recommend therapy, man.
Yeah.
I think everyone should be have some kind of it. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
you'll realize how many wounds you still have open
Yep.
from being a child or that one experience you had, that one relationship you had, that one event that changed how you see shit. You know,
I think
it's
that
like
can
you think
be.
it's closed, but that shit is wide open, my brother. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, and you don't know it's open,
No,
and you're just like, oh no, nothing's wrong. I just do this and this, and it's like, well, why do you think you do that?
exactly.
I think that
You know
scares
what
a
I'm
lot of
saying?
people. Is go to therapy and hear and discover that a lot of what shaped you is like a response from trauma.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, so if this is just a defense mechanism, who am I? And having to figure that out can be really tough.
it's very tough.
Damn, we get real deep, folks.
Yeah, we are. Holy shit,
We
man.
get
Goddamn.
we getting ultra deep.
I don't want to save this for the next episode, but
Nah, go for it.
okay.
What's up?
So it's the just because it's so fresh. It's the whole Microsoft Federal Trade Commission shit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Because
The
it's just
the
there's some
Activision deal, right?
huge fucking news that came from this. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
So to preface this, this is the whole Activision Blizzard merger. Microsoft spent $69 billion to acquire Activision Blizzard.
69 billion?
Yes, with a B. And obviously, it was seen with some, as it should have been, and as it should be, with some like, hey, that's kind of a large merger you're trying to do. So it's been under very tough scrutiny. But obviously, with these things, we see emails come out, we see other documents and shit like that. I have a list of a few that I kind of wanted to touch on.
And now the whole basis for this FTC thing is it's in they have to make sure it's in accordance with like the whole like antitrust things, right?
Yes,
That's what it's
exactly.
bordering around is
Yes.
no entity can basically own too much of the pie because if they do, then you have no choice but to go with them.
The real question is, why did they let it happen with Disney?
Mm.
What mouse is squeaking those pockets?
Wow, that's true.
You telling me Fox wasn't fucking like that's huge for Disney?
That's true.
And they just let him have it. I'm like, that's crazy as fuck, man.
Wow.
But anyway, so some of the things I wanted to talk about. Sorry, one second. So the first topic I had on my list is this came out. I believe this is already kind of known-ish, but it also came up again. Is Sony has paid game developers fees to discourage them from shipping games, and the two that are mentioned are Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop on Xbox. Now, again, these are not exclusives; they're timed exclusives. So I believe both these games. I think Deathloop came to PlayStation consoles and PC. Meanwhile, Ghostwire Tokyo was initially only PlayStation 5, then after a year or so, I think it finally came to PC and Xbox. But obviously, this is nothing new. We know timed exclusives. They've been around since, video games existed and shit.
They've been very rare though. Like apart from recently, I can't remember a lot that were timed. I'm sorry. For like Xbox and PlayStation, not necessarily PC.
Yeah, yeah. PC is usually like, yeah, I got it. It's never like a kind of issue. It's mainly a console to console is where we see this mainly occurring the most. Next thing, Activision Blizzard was not. Again, this is huge. They're not the only company that Microsoft wanted to buy. They had a list of 100 game companies they considered to purchase. Obviously, some of the big ones were Sega and Bungie. Those would be huge grabs for Microsoft. We now know that Sony ended up purchasing Bungie for 3.2 or 3.6 billion. But they've kind of left them to their own devices. They're not interfering with them as much, which, if you, depending on how you look at the current state of Destiny 2, is either a blessing or a curse. And obviously Sega having the rights to Sonic the Hedgehog, any movie deals that they may acquire, any other smaller companies that are under. Because remember, you not only acquire Sega, you acquire the companies that Sega has also purchased and has also brought into their fold.
Right. It's not like, oh, you own this one company. It's no, you own this one and then the 40 they have under them.
Yeah, exactly. Like with Microsoft purchasing Bethesda a couple years ago, it was ZeniMax, Bethesda, Arcane Studios, who are famous for Prey and the now known Redfall garbage.
And Dishonored. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, they're huge. They make some of the best. Whatever. It's like it's huge to have that company under them. id, they're under id. It's a Microsoft thing now with like Doom games and Quake. Like I said, that's huge. And another thing in this is the words that were thrown around were Microsoft wanted to spend Sony out of business. Because you got to remember, they don't want the Sony brand. They want the PlayStation brand gone, right. As with any large competitive whatever. You know what I'm saying? If this guy's selling lemonade and I'm selling lemonade, like I want his business out because I want the most people buying my fucking lemonade. Obviously, it makes sense in the grand scheme, but Sony's huge because they don't just do consoles.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, obviously, Microsoft is huge because they just don't do consoles.
What's crazy is Microsoft is a mammoth compared to Sony.
Mm-hmm.
Sony's market cap is 150 billion, and Microsoft is 2 trillion.
Yeah,
it's wild. But then you boil it down to in terms of just the gaming space, Sony's kicking Microsoft's ass.
No, and again, that's one of the things I wanted to mention. because obviously the FTC is trying to paint Microsoft in like a lower light from this, because obviously, this is a huge acquisition. They do not want to go through without the proper precautions and without the proper, I guess, like testing and shit. So one of the things they talked about is the FTC was adamant in claiming that Xbox only competed with the PlayStation in the console gaming market. And they also attempted to dismiss the claims that Nintendo played a significant role in the console gaming market due to its different strength in hardware and the way it approached gaming. I find this fucking hilarious because the Switch is like the number 3 most selling console of all time.
Yeah. It's oh god, I just saw the numbers. It
It's
is
like
more
117 million or
yeah,
something like that.
it's more than triple in terms of total units sold. More than triple of both the PS5 and Xbox combined.
Yeah.
The PS5 and Xbox Series X. Like all those
Yeah.
units add them up, it's over triple that.
Yeah. And then Microsoft contested this, stating that Nintendo's presence in the market made it a prominent competitor and claimed that Xbox was behind PlayStation and Nintendo in player numbers. So now they're trying to play like the, oh, little old me, oh, we're losing the game in whatever, but like Game Pass has been through the roof and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because that's why they wanted to invest in PC. Because if you can get the PC market in, you bundle Game Pass in with fucking whatever the hell, you know, you're set.
Yeah.
You know.
They might have been in terms of units sold and like recent games they might be losing. But again, none of that matters if you acquire all of these companies because then
Exactly.
there's no choice. It's, oh yeah, they were beating us, but now we have everything. So we don't need to put out quality. We don't need to compete against anything because we're the only choice.
Exactly. Now speaking on, these deals, because obviously the biggest thing that is being thrown around now is Call of Duty. Will Call of Duty stay on PlayStation consoles? Will, you know, one of the things they mentioned was making. They did that 10-year deal with Nintendo as well for, Call of Duty to stay on, make actual Call of Duty games for Nintendo Switch.
They
Which,
definitely need to release a new console then.
well, yeah, that's neither here nor there.
Run it at 480.
Yeah, I mean that's literally what it'll be, you know. But one of the things I thought was interesting was they approached Valve to have a 10-year deal for Steam for Call of Duty, and Steam said no, and not probably for the reason you think. So the quote here is Valve believes strongly that content should be on the platform. They do not want to be seen to signing contracts that lock up or drive commitments to content over 10-year periods of time, saying that Valve trusted us to keep our commitment.
Good
Which, I mean,
for them.
yeah, I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? Like if nobody knows who Valve is, they make obviously Steam. That's probably their biggest thing. The Steam Marketplace, Steam Store, Steam, all your PC games kind of consolidated into one area, one place. But it is a privately owned company. That is not a public company, so they have no. If they want to say, "Hey, yeah, we want your game on the store," or "We don't want your game on the store," they can take it off. There's no repercussion for it. There's no whatever.
Yeah, there's no shareholders to please.
No.
There's no one to answer to. So the fact that they're doing that, being private,
Yeah,
that shows a lot of chops.
yeah, I fucking love that. And the I think personally to me, I don't think as a whole, but I think personally to me is we found out budgets for both Horizon Forbidden West and The Last of Us Part 2. Budgets and the amount of employees they had, which is probably the most. I think it is the most like closely kept secret in like the gaming space is like budgets for games and shit, because you don't want your competitor to know how much you're spending or how much time you're investing, because whatever.
But yeah, I had never heard of. I hadn't thought about it, but I had never heard of how much a game costs until now.
Yes, the last big time this came up, which I'm gonna mention after this, is for Metal Gear Solid 5.
Okay.
That game had a budget of $80 million.
Wow, that's it.
Yeah, And that game came out in
Wow.
2015. And
Yeah.
that was with a brand new engine. That was with a whole development team. I mean, you had Hideo Kojima show running that.
Right.
You had multiple
Wow.
huge voice actors. Like I said, everything was essentially brand new, made for that game specifically. You know, so for Horizon Forbidden West, it was $212 million budget and 300 employees for 5 years. That is insane. Now that is again, they just reused the Decima engine, I believe, is what it's called. Um, so it's not a new engine, it's not a new whatever, but obviously like working on new hardware, shit like that.
Wait, you
Things got to
said that
made.
was for Forbidden West?
That was Forbidden West.
Wow, and they were able to reuse a lot from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean
Wow.
you're putting it on PS5 at this point, but that's it. You know, I mean I don't want to say that's it, but like
That game
it's
is gorgeous.
yes. Um, and then Last of Us Part Two, $220 million. They didn't give us a time frame for how long, but it was 200 full time workers.
Wow.
So obviously they changed the engine. It plays way better. It feels a lot more smoother. I love Last of Us Part Two. I think it plays great compared to the
Incredible
first
game.
game. I need to pick up the newest remake because I know they use the new engine for that.
Yeah.
So it actually might want to make me get to play and beat the first game. um, but these are huge. Now, like I said, going back to this is literally what made Konami drop Kojima was the fact that he went over. But now, don't get me wrong, Metal Gear Solid 5 is a great game. Some of the stories unfinished, but that game made its money back in like a week or something like that.
Oh,
And it sold huge numbers. Same
great
thing
game.
with both uh, Horizon and Last of Us.
Oh yeah.
So it's crazy to me that this is the budget for a this is a marquee game. You know what I'm saying? This is a game that you poster fucking everywhere for months and months and months. You know, it's your biggest presentation. You do whole fucking like states of play around it. You do whole like streams around just showing off this game. You know, I thought it would be more. I
Uh,
thought these games would cost more to develop.
you
Now,
mean the recent two or Metal Gear?
these recent two.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah. I thought I was thinking like 250, 200, almost probably 300 million. I was thinking
Hmm.
for this, you know, with just the way games are and shit, and like, the time investment. Like when was fucking Elder Scrolls 6 announced, and it fucking won't be out for another 4 years? God damn it,
Now
you
that
know.
one,
Yeah,
that's probably, or I mean, maybe even Starfield, man.
but
Depending, I'll have to wait and see once it comes out.
yeah,
But if it's half the game that we think it's going to be, I mean, that,
it could be one of the most ambitious gaming projects we've ever seen.
yeah.
Just the scale and the scope, I think could set this apart for another decade. They could have another Skyrim on their hand, where like it comes out to critical acclaim. It's the most well-loved game in the series. It starts something new, something fresh. There's a copycat every fucking 3 to 5 years. That try does it better but doesn't.
Yeah.
It's it could be huge. So again, I think that's something we'll have to see. But yeah, I'm surprised that it's not bigger. Now, I think the one I did want to talk about, it's just not here. It's not mentioned at all. It's fucking GTA 6.
Oh,
I am I'm quaking at the amount of fucking money that's thrown in. Because remember, GTA is under 2K's umbrella. 2K games.
yeah. And they do a lot of things in those that, because they get a lot of licensed music,
Yes,
and that's
that's what
going
I'm
to
saying.
cost a lot.
And voice actors and
Yeah.
this and that. And obviously we seen, I mean, again, it's no big fucking secret that GTA 5 made billions of dollars on
I
shark
mean,
cards. It's
yeah.
been out for coming in October this year, or I think September. It'll be 10 years since that game
And it's
dropped.
been re released like 4 or 5 times.
Yes, and it's a great game. Don't get me wrong. But like to me, the multiplayer is only fun in certain situations, and the single player is like maybe I'll replay it twice.
Right.
You know, it's not like Red Dead 2 where you play through it, you get emotionally crushed by every single decision you make for the last 4 hours of that game, and then you cry for a week. It's not like that. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit different. Obviously, different game, different kind of like whatever. Oh, actually, speaking of Red Dead, fucking
I saw that
Red
too.
Dead, yeah, Red Dead 2 has been, or sorry, not Red Dead 2, Red Dead 1 has been supposedly the remake or remaster is being whispers in the wind again.
I saw that the rating board passed. Or
Hmm.
the yeah.
So
I saw that. That'll be sweet.
if it's under the Red Dead 2 engine, that could be we could have another game of the year on our hands, I feel like. Because the biggest issue with Red Dead 1 is the animation is so goddamn bad.
Yeah.
And it's so clunky and it feels like a 2000s fucking video
You
game.
can tell you can tell too much that it was made by GTA.
Yeah, by Rockstar,
Yeah.
yeah. You're not wrong.
Especially not the second one. The second one's good. But the first one you can really feel like this is Western GTA.
Yeah. It's a lot more vocal with its like I think they kind of went all in on the whole like because so they're coming off of GTA 4 was
Yeah.
2007. One of probably my favorite GTA. It's great.
Wow.
I have I had a birthday cake made that said GTA 4 on it.
Hell yeah. That one is fun, especially with friends, like the online.
Yeah, the online's great. The single player is fucking fantastic. It's just a charmer of a game. So they're coming off that, and I know they had a license for the Red Dead game because remember Red Dead Revolver was like the first game in the series. Um, and or Rockstar picked up that license. They had it.
Was that
You
the
know, I
mobile
don't know.
game?
No, Red Dead Revolver was I mean, it's the same universe, I imagine, but you play as a cowboy. I know the story is your family gets murdered and your barn gets burned to the ground, and you go for revenge, and you're out just like killing everybody and shit. You know?
Oh, I remember this game.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, yep.
But you could definitely tell like the crassness of it, you know, in the first Red Dead because there's a lot more like foul language and like like it feels like you said like Rockstar or like GTA in the West,
Yep.
Wild West. Red Dead 2 just kind of like it's a little more softer, it's a little more like whatever, but like the emotional beats are just through the fucking roof, you know.
It's a lot more intentional in being its own game and not relying on, hey, we're the creators of GTA. Because you
Yeah,
can play Red Dead 2 and then play, GTA 5 and not even know.
it's so good. And then the last thing, touching back on the whole Microsoft FTC thing, um, in 2021, Call of Duty represented $800 million of Sony's PlayStation revenue. That's fucking huge. So no wonder they want to keep Call of Duty on their fucking platform, man. It's that shit pulled in
800.
almost $1 billion in 2021.
Wow. I mean, it makes sense. All your, like, the what is it, the Battle Pass, the
Mm.
re-ups, and then all the, especially
God
nowadays with
points.
like the streamer skins, the
Yeah.
like the popular streamers who get oh my god, I want my favorite streamer skin.
Hmm.
That's insane though. 800 million. My god.
Yeah.
That's
And
insane.
yeah. So
Wow.
so that's 800 million from Sony and then another 1.5 billion total worldwide. So $800 million from Sony in 2021 from PlayStation consoles,
Mhm.
and then another 700 million from I imagine Xbox and PC. You know,
Damn.
so that
Wow.
shit is huge.
Wow. Wow.
You know,
That's wow. Damn.
so obviously that is the biggest thing coming out of this is what games are going to stay on consoles. I mean, there's some other more shit. You guys can look it up and see all the takeaways from the past couple weeks, but there's a lot of good information and also a lot of like you see why they don't talk about some of this shit.
Right.
So
Oh my god. That's wild. Oh, dude. Have you seen the Final Fantasy 16 overheating the PS5s?
no, I
Yeah,
have not.
so
That's interesting as fuck though.
yeah, she picked me that or she picked that up for me. Jesus. the day it came out, and I've been
Uh,
playing that beautiful game.
yeah,
Plays really well.
it looks very good.
Yeah. I like the new combat, the kind of Devil May Cry inspired. It's
Mm.
fun. The visuals are great, but yeah, they've posted some videos of people, like some of the fights, some of the particle effect, like some of the big icon boss fights are just so intense that their PS5s are overheating, and the PS5 just shuts off, and it's like system shutting off until the temperature drops. But then these are the same people who are keeping them in like cabinets and never cleaning them,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
covered
You're
in
not getting them the
bullshit.
right circulation. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I thought that was pretty funny. Like, damn,
Interesting.
shit's
Mm.
intense. Like camping. But yeah, that's a good game, man.
Sorry, I had to shelter my laugh from that last joke.
Listen, I've been popping that one a lot.
It's intense, like camping. Jesus sakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big Final Fantasy guy. I never played one. I played one of the Final Fantasy games, I think, on Game Boy when I was a kid, but I didn't really have much fun with it. And I tried to play 15, and I was like, this is okay.
Hmm.
But it has the same issue that I think a lot of those like JRPG style games tend to have. It's just it gives you so much shit to do, and you do not know what to do.
Yeah.
You're just getting fucking lambasted with everything all the goddamn time.
That's how the Final Fantasy VII remake was.
Hmm.
Great game, but there's so much shit to do. And I
I'm
feel like
like,
they definitely toned it down for 16. It's a lot more linear. Um, it's not, peppered with like, yeah, there's some side missions here and here, but it's pretty simple just to say, hey, okay, here's the main missions. Here's, you got to do a few side quests, but I feel like they toned it down and say, hey, let's tell a cool story. Let's make these icon battles the centerpiece, and they are a lot of fun.
interesting.
It's
I
very
have to,
spectacle intense.
yeah, I saw a few videos. I'm like, this looks kind of. It reminds me of it was old the game called Azura's Wrath.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Where you play as
Just
like, he's a god, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It has a very similar, I feel like, vibe to that. But maybe I'll pick it up, when it's on sale or something like that, just to try it out.
Yeah.
I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom, The Legend of
Oh.
Zelda. Holy fucking shit. Is that game amazing? I know I'm a little late. Obviously, this game came out fucking months ago, but yeah, that game is it's fucking great.
You build
I'm
him
having
Mecha Godzilla.
no, not yet. I'm missing like two powers still,
Okay.
or two or three. I'm missing the. There's one of them that I'm missing. I forget, and then yeah. There's another one that I gotta grab too.
Hey man,
But I gotta
you'll have to wait. What are you playing it on?
Nintendo
Switch.
Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Definitely not my
Yeah.
piece.
Yeah. Yeah. No. No. Definitely. It's only on Switch. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have to screen share your Switch so I can watch.
Yeah, I got you. Don't worry. I'll make sure you see that I hooked the Switch into the HDMI cable and
That's
into
right.
my capture card.
No, just turn on your webcam and then put the Switch in front of the webcam.
Oh, you know what? That's
Yeah.
probably the easiest. Yeah, it's probably the
Yeah.
easiest
Yeah.
and safest
Yeah.
option. I agree.
Yeah, that'll work out. Happy 4th of July, folks.
Yes.
I'm gonna be watching Grown Ups and I don't know, having a burger.
Yeah, my family's tradition is to get fish and chips on the 4th of July.
I've never had fish and chips.
What?
Like the dish. I've had chips and I've had fish, but I've never had like fish and chips.
Oh, dude, fish and chips is fucking legit, man.
I would get some,
Well-
but the Long John Silver's that just closed right next to us.
Oh, fucking go somewhere else with that shit. Listen, I'll send you a plate. It's over in my neighborhood, but
All right.
goddamn, is that not some of the best fucking chips and fish I've had?
I found a new like a soul food
Ooh.
place.
Listen, fucking, there's so many.
Apparently, it's
they're
the best
all
fried
so
chicken in
good.
Sacramento.
Is it?
Fixins.
Yeah, I would say it's either Fixins or Momo's, but Momo's does barbecue, but Momo's is fucking just top tier as well.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Fixins.
Fixins Soul Kitchen is good too.
Yeah,
That's another good one.
I'm gonna take her there when we get back from the wedding
Oh, yeah,
because she's, I mean, she's a big fried chicken. When in doubt, give her fried chicken.
Yeah, there's I think we'll talk on this last thing real fast. There's
Yeah.
a Hot Boys chicken. It's like that hot, like the Nashville fucking chicken.
Oh, like yeah, like Dave's hot chicken or something like that.
Dude, that Hot Boys chicken is fucking out of this world.
Hot boy, like spelled normal.
HOTBOYZ, I think. Hot Boys. But holy fuck, is that place good? We're actually gonna have that for dinner tonight.
Is there one here?
It's on B Street, I think, is where the restaurant is.
Hot Boys.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Dude, that shit is fucking amazing.
Interesting. I love those places like Dave's, Angry Chicks, all of them. I love those like hot chicken sandwich places.
Yeah. I got they have like you select the spice level when you order. It's like, I just keep getting training wheels because I'm afraid. So I'm gonna go up a tier and see if I can handle it.
What I've seen with both of them is the bottom three. All of them up to medium are pretty, like, okay, this is a gradual heat step, right?
Yeah,
dude. Medium to hot, I was like, holy shit! Like, I had the just worst explosive shits of my life the next day.
And that's what I'm afraid of, but I'm like, damn, did I really want to try this shit?
Dude, it's 100% worth it because it tastes so good.
Yeah. I'll see if I can get go up to the next level,
Yeah.
Because I handle heat pretty well, but like I hate when like I'm sweating and it's 104 degrees right now. I'm like, dude, I don't want to be sweating with this shit,
Hey, we'll do this. One of these days, we'll go buy like a gallon of like chocolate milk or something.
Oh,
and then we'll go sign the waivers and do the hottest level.
Oh, fuck, dude, I can't.
And then we can film it. Oh, we'll do it as a podcast episode.
Oh my, oh.
Yes.
Listen, man.
Yes.
There's hot ones and there's cold ones. What the fuck? The schmedium ones? Jesus Christ, that sounds fucking.
The wrinkled ones.
Yeah. Oh shit, the wrinkled ones.
That can be the playlist. The wrinkled ones is where we just try hot food.
Oh god.
I heard it here first, folks. It's gonna happen. One of these days, it's gonna. Yep.
Don't put too much stock in that now.
Oh god, it's gonna hurt. See, my ass is already ready. Like it's already puckering because it knows.
It's already looser gooser.
Yep. It's like I'm ready. Bring on the what is the choco milk? Choco?
Yeah, choco milk.
Yeah.
Or hot chocolatey milk.
God, chocolate milk's so good. Like
you're not
just
wrong.
Ice cold.
That Fairfield chocolate milk, man, that shit it hits different.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. Dude, I don't know what it is, but there's something so pleasing about seeing chocolate milk in cinema. Like in Men in Black 3, where he gets erased, Kay gets erased from history, and then Will Smith is drinking his chocolate milk. That chocolate milk always looks so damn good. I don't know what it is. Seeing chocolate milk on camera just...
Yeah, but there's something about it. Same thing with like burgers. Burgers always look good on film. I don't know what it is about them.
Yeah, that's true. Or oh my god, like anime when they make food in anime.
Oh, dude, fucking Ponyo. The ramen, bro. Every time I'm like, bro, I want that shit right now. So.
Oh man, this has been a good one.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Hey, next time we might be burning our insides. So stay tuned. Let us know what you're doing for 4th of July. Don't burn down your house or your neighbor's lawn or blow off your fingers.
Please be extremely fucking safe, even with the shitty fireworks you get from the stalls.
Yep, but on the off chance it does happen, let us know what happens.
Yeah, and send me a
that'll
photo,
make for a funny story.
Yeah, you'd be like JPP from the New York Giants. He's a defensive end. He ended up blowing off his fingers, like 3 of his fingers, from a firework accident. So,
woo! Yes, if that happens, please tell us in excruciating detail.
Yeah, I really would love to know.
Yep. And
Just so I know to never do that shit.
that's right. We can make a whole episode about life lessons and how some of them are a little more painful than others.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Y'all have a good day.
Yeah.
Go down there, like, subscribe, do all the things, all the buttons. Push them. See that little animation when you push them. Comment what you think about chocolate milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.